This video is about Venus in the 6th house, and I use Sidereal zodiac. Basically, we've been talking about Venus being like the planet of beauty and harmony and working with other people, always trying to have like an opinion of love that is of a higher level. Making good choices is the most important thing about Venus. Venus rules the natural 2nd house of the zodiac, which is Taurus. So it's all about the family, good values, making money and sharing it with the family and saving money. And 7th house, Libra, which is also all about like working with other people, commerce and trade, business partners, love relationships and marriage and sex. So this makes Venus very much about enjoyment and not being judgmental. And now it's going into the 6th house. The natural 6th house of the zodiac is Virgo. And despite the fact that Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is very good friends with Venus is actually debilitated in the 6th house because it's house of analysis, analytics, detail, basically researching and making sure we get things right. So this obviously it's not good for Venus because it just means that in love it'll be like, you know, your hair is getting long, you're putting on weight, you're getting, you know, I don't know, all sorts of things. You're snoring at night. You know, they're just like, it's just picking faults with your partner all the time. So naturally, this is not going to be obviously an easy house for Venus. So Venus therefore feels overwhelmed in this because it's too critical, and it's just rather than enjoying the moment, it's kind of like making the Venus person, because obviously Venus is just indication of love for everybody, not just necessarily for men, for women also. So if you have this, it could just be that you're attracted to people who are like that towards you, or you're like that towards other people. So it works both ways. It does get better with time, and it's really, really good if you're in sports, because you can literally really kind of argue, you know, like be very sort of like analytical, like to be able to deliver your sport to the highest standard, if you like. But in love matters of relationship, obviously, it's very difficult. So basically, 6th house is all about discord and delays and divorce, arguments, and it's like a very small detail. It's also rules litigations as well, health issues, addictions. So this could be like, obviously just means that in relationship, these people can't, you know, overlook little things. They can just be very stuck on small things. So if you have it in your, you know, it's really doesn't necessarily always means divorce, but it could also be that you're looking for somebody who is very intellectual, very intelligent. You want to have really healthy debates with them. I know people who have Venus in the 6th house. They've been married for years and years. They always argue, but they always make up, and they have the most amazing debates and everything. You know, when I was younger, when I used to be in that environment, it used to really scare me. But obviously you realize that they both, as long as both sides are strong, it doesn't work too bad. But obviously if the man is trying to sort of assert themselves in a negative way, it's not very good. Or the woman, really. It's just, you know, love is not about scoring points. So, but it can also be on the positive sides. It could also be that you are attracted to people in the healing industry, health workers, medics. Anybody in the medical field could have Venus or other planets in the 6th house, and service people who, you know, like plumbers and handymen, the police, and paramedics, things like that could also fall in this and sometimes lawyers as well. So it could also be somebody who, I mean, if it's connected to the ninth house, it could sometimes be, or 10th house, it could be somebody who can argue a really good case for their the people that they're defending as well. But obviously it is difficult. I don't always like to kind of look at the negative side of things, but it is difficult. I have a friend who is a Libra ascendant, and she has, obviously this is different because she's got Mars in Aries as well, so aspect in the first house, and her Venus, which is the ruler of her first house, is in the sixth house, exalted in the sixth house. But actually we know that it's not really exalted, because also in Navamsha it goes into Virgo, so it is debilitated. But she sees everything as an argument. So if you want to say something, you're always got to be careful. Becomes, even though she's a dear friend, intelligent friend, but she always has an opinion. And obviously because Jupiter in her chart is very, very strong as well, she just has to have the last word, always got to feel as though she's got to win the argument. Everything is an argument, even though it's not an argument. So it's very wearing. She knows that as well, and she has to really work at it, because obviously she's got very strong Jupiter, very strong Mars. So it's very difficult for people who've got these really Mahaprusha yogas to actually work on themselves, because they always feel the problem is the other people. They never see that they have to do the work on themselves, because they think they've already, they already know the real thing. So that can be very difficult if it's together with things like that. So we're going to look at a couple of charts now. But I just really I don't want anybody to worry about this. Really intelligently you can work through these things. And also if you both have got, I think sometimes when people have got, both people have got difficult Venuses, it works better, because particularly if they get together a little bit later, and if Saturn is good in their charts as well, they can work through those issues. And I always think that if you have this, and if you've had one relationship that's been bad, and you've kind of have the awakening that actually I did contribute to this, you can really work on this. And normally you burn that karma, and it doesn't have to be a succession of difficult relationships anyway. So let's have a look at a couple of charts. The first one is Whitney Houston. Oh wow, what a beautiful singer she was. And you can see that she's Aquarius ascendant, and Venus has gone into the sixth house in Cancer. For them, for her, basically you can see that although it's a lovely placement, Venus, in a really sort of nice watery sign, but it's sixth house, and it'll have sixth house connotations. It's Venus also sitting with the sun as well, so she's obviously quite an emotional lady, and that you can see that she obviously, Venus is combusted by the sun, so just burnt by the relationship, as well as Venus being in the sixth house. So quite a lot of difficulties there as well. And also Saturn is aspecting fully on her as well there. So it's so that's one of the ones, very sad. And her husband, obviously they got divorced, and they had, it was a very difficult relationship really. So, and it created all these addictions for her as well. And you can see the first house ruler, Saturn, has gone into the 12th house. So just want to escape everything, the difficulties there. And also Rahu is aspecting ascendant as well, which is quite difficult too. And the next one is George Harrison. George Harrison is Libra ascendant, has Venus in what would be the exaltation sign in Pisces. And obviously it's still, despite the fact that it is exalted, has still got like difficulties. And I think he had issues with relationships as well, where he might have had like the second wife or third wife, which worked out really, really well, good relationship, but he had to go through some issues to get there. But Venus in the sixth house in Pisces as well, it just means that obviously thinking outside the box as well a little bit, very creative, Pisces, so that really helps that situation as well. And also he has Mars aspecting that Venus as well, which is quite difficult for Venus. So so this is another sign. So I don't want you to worry about it, but I think when you have these placements, it's really, really good to actually intelligently, that is because Venus is intelligent in this, can use the intelligence to make what is really the most important thing about Venus, which is making really good choices in love. And once you've been burnt once, you don't want to go down that road. So that's it, folks. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.